Welcome back to Point of Disorder. Happy to be here today with Julie and Stella from the Michigan College Downs.
Thank you for having me, guys.
We've got like some amazing topics today. We're going to talk about new Senate polling, the youth's vote and role in the Michigan races, and like what the fuck happened in Saline with that data center this week. But before we do that, we need to plug. Make sure you're following us on socials at Distill Social on TikTok and Facebook, and at Distill_social on Instagram. Come find us on Substack. We have like excellent articles that'll break down Michigan, local, and national news for you. So let's just get right into it.
Fun fact, actually, I was in the airport yesterday in New York because I was visiting New York for the weekend, and I overheard people talking about the race. And I was like, no fucking way. I was on the phone with Dylan Wagella, and I was like, I'm over here. I overheard people talking about what's happening in Michigan. Every time Michigan is mentioned, I'm like, yes. But also the fact that it's just reached a scope this large, I've never seen something like that before.
So first of all, I was in New York last week as well.
No way.
And we need to give a shout out. The last time I'd been there before that was election day for the election in 2025.
Mamdani.
So please, I'm interested in your thoughts on what New York looked like. Was it the socialist hellscape that everyone told us it was going to be?
I flew over and there was a big sign that said, welcome to Mamdanistan. And the Quran was playing on audiobook the entire time. No, actually, it was great. Like, I felt like incredibly safe. I got to see the Zoe ramp, the one that goes on the Brooklyn Bridge.
Oh, yeah.
It was really cool. And I had a really great time. I was there during the whole Israel Day parade, which was very interesting because it was the first time a mayor was not going to attend that event. So there was like a lot of backlash on that front.
Chuck Schumer was there, and the governor of New York was also there.
And Kathy Hochul was there, and this like far right dude, like elected official from Israel was there. I don't know why you'd be in America because you have a country you need to focus on out east, but all right.
The one thing that I noticed was how clean it was.
Yes.
So it's once again, it's this whole like, it's so funny what can happen when actually you get a mayor that actually wants to fix things for the people. Yeah. And that leads us to our conversation about the Senate race.
Yeah. Gulp. I just want to back up for a second.
Yeah.
And let everybody know, as a former New Yorker, New Yorkers hold parades for every background. There's a Puerto Rican Day Parade. There's a Caribbean parade. Like, so the Israel Day Parade is nothing new, and all the different melting pot of New York City ethnicities come in. Everybody gets their own day.
Yeah.
Excellent. So let's get back to the Senate race. Let's talk. I'm really interested, Stella, to hear from you about the youth voters, because I know the one thing that people are really, like, I hear constantly, particularly from people more my age and older, they're constantly talking about the fact that obviously we have three Democratic candidates who are quite different. You know, we've got obviously Haley Stevens, we've got Mallory McMorrow, we've got Abdul Al-Sayed. A lot of the complaints come around the fact that they don't think that Al-Sayed can win.
Yeah.
And that's an interesting kind of
place
to come from.
That's the only talking point coming from the centrists that they think can move people over to their candidate.
Yeah.
Which we've now seen debunked in many polls. We've seen polls showing, luckily for Democrats, anyone we choose will be Republican Mike Rogers. So I'm thrilled at that fact. And I'm also thrilled to see, like yesterday, all three Senate candidates were on a Jewish caucus forum together, and they all pledged that they will support whichever candidate wins the primary. So all three candidates are really working to unify the base at this point, and I'm happy to see that.
That's really good to hear, because I know I was here to talk about the MDP convention. I feel like there was a lot of just like moderate versus progressive conversation where the moderates didn't want to unify over the progressive slate that ended up winning in breaking record numbers at the MDP convention.
Doesn't that just kind of sound like a reverse Uno 2024?
Right? Like, vote blue no matter who, unless your candidate loses. Like, are we fucking serious right now? Jesus Christ. But I will say regarding the point of the Senate race is like, and I know we kind of wanted to talk about like Trump stuff, but young people are really, really fed up with everything that's happening. Like, none of us can buy a house. The median age to buy a house is the oldest it's ever been. Can't afford our tuition. It just keeps getting higher. We are not able to afford groceries or even pay rent because can't buy a house, let alone cannot pay rent. So, like, it's just a whole mess. And I think all of us are very, very, very done with the status quo. And we're ready to actually bring people to the table that want to fucking do something, because I feel like now when I look at what's happening out of DC, it's like a lot of it does seem performative, and I understand that Democrats are in the minority. It's hard to get things done. I understand that, but it's like so many of them are bending the knee to Republicans and are like capitulating to them.
I'm so glad you brought that up, Stella, because like one of my biggest things was when people ask me about bipartisanship and like, shouldn't Republicans and Democrats get along? And, oh, how great is it that so-and-so and so-and-so are friends? And I'm like, well, what good is it doing? Where's it getting us?
Yeah.
We have not passed any bipartisan legislation in the last 2 years that has done anything for the American people. Like, there is no such thing as bipartisanship when we literally have just like the least effective Congress, the least effective Michigan legislature in history when we have a split House and Senate. So, I mean, bipartisanship is like this like weird thing people keep talking about that we can't quite figure out what it means because it's not getting positive legislation passed.
Yeah, and something I wanted to say too is obviously I'm a college student right now and I take a lot of classes on like Congress and legislative behavior and things like that. And the central point of those classes is political gridlock. Like, all we do all semester is talk about why Congress doesn't get anything passed. And it is so frustrating that, like, instead of actually learning about the functions of Congress, what they should be doing, we're instead talking about what's happening, which is they don't do anything. So I'm just like, what the fuck? You're just leaving us to the dust, and young people are just gonna turn into like a bucket of nothing because we can't afford anything.
So I have a theory that I'd like to share with the both of you, which concerns me, which scares me actually more than anything else. My theory is, and I've spoken about this, we've been doing this podcast for 3 years or whatever, and it's one of my sort of things that I always go back to, is Trump is not the disease. He's a symptom, basically like I always say that, like the black light on the college sofa. Sorry, that's quite gross, but anyway. And
we'll say the frat house.
The frat house, okay. I think the problem is that the system doesn't work for everyday people. For most people, not even everyday people, just most people, the system doesn't work for them. Not the political system, not the healthcare system, not the educational system, none of it. It's broken, and it's been broken for a long time. This is not new. Trump came in and he basically said he would drain the swamp, fix the system. Now, we know that he's full of shit, and he basically just came in and basically robbed us blind and turned us into one of his casino buffets, or that's what we feel like anyway. And we're all on the menu. And he definitely did nothing to fix any of the problems. My fear is that if we don't elect leaders that want to actually move things genuinely forward and make things actually better for people, like better for their ability to be affordability, better for their education, better for the healthcare system, all the things that you are facing as you leave in the future, leave university.
Yeah.
If we elect people that just want us to go back to the status quo, as you mentioned before Trump, we're fucked, because the exact same environment and broken system still exist, only they're fundamentally worse. Young people don't want incrementalism, and you're a young person, you can sort of chime in here and tell me, yes, no, we want incrementalism, but I don't think that's what you're going to say.
Yeah, no.
They don't want moving in the right direction bullshit. They see via social media and traveling, a lot of young people travel more than what they did in my generation, how things can be and are different in other corners of the world, and they see their money being spent on killing children whilst they themselves are left there struggling under the burden of college debt, working multiple jobs to basically make ends meet. And I think that's just something that people are done with. I mean, I don't know. Tell me your thoughts on that.
I have a lot of thoughts on this personally. First and foremost, I mentioned this when we were talking outside of this recording, but when Trump was first elected, I was in around 5th or 6th grade. So my brain was just starting to develop.
That's insane.
I know. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. I'm one of the youth, I guess.
I was only 21, so yeah, let's keep going.
Perfect. Yeah, it's so weird because I still remember that moment in time, and I wasn't fully aware, like, what Trump was doing. I just knew that he wasn't doing any good. And as time went on, I, kept becoming politically engaged and teaching myself about the things happening in the world around me. And now I am 20, almost 21, and we still have the same man leading the Republican Party. Our generation knows no one else but Donald Trump as the face of the Republican Party. And I think it's really distorted our perception on like civil discourse and civil politics because we don't know that. We've never known that.
So I just want to say my opinion as somebody who studied poli-sci 20 years before you have. There's no such thing as politeness in politics.
Yeah.
That's a misnomer people put out there to basically get people to shut the fuck up, okay? Never in the history of politics have things been polite. They've been a less in your face, like people haven't been blatantly stealing from the American government and enriching their family in the way Trump has. But like politics is rowdy. Politics has always been full of liars, people out for their own agenda, people out to line their own politics or align their own pocketbooks. So, I mean, I feel like Trump is just like the natural evolution of things.
Do you think we've hit kind of like this like plateau, like this peak?
No, I
Or
don't
do you think it's
we
just going to keep
have,
going
because
worse?
here's the thing, like I think like the internet really helps Trump and people like that's the new thing in play right now is like the internet. So like what's the next evolution of how we're going to persuade people during elections? And it's
AI slop.
AI is going to be a huge part of it.
Yeah. I also wanted to add to your point. I understand like the concept of there never being this like political discourse, but I to this level, I think especially from this discussion is January 6th, because I, as well as a lot of people that are my age, remember like where they were when January 6th happened and what they were doing and things like that. But it seems like now, like an insurrection into the United States Capitol happened to try to overthrow the government, and we forgot about it.
Yeah.
The American people completely forgot about it. And that is something that I think about very often, the fact that we forgot that as just an American populace. And it feels like the zone, and I don't think this is like a niche issue to young people because this is for everyone, but the zone has been flooded so badly.
Yeah.
There has been so much that's been happening, not even on like a monthly or a weekly basis, but on a daily basis out of the Trump administration, that it's so hard to be able to absorb all of it.
All a nervous system disorder.
Yeah.
We're drinking from a fire hose. I think the thing that concerns me, though, and I go beyond Trump because I see it as being not a Trump problem, being an American problem. And it's not the discourse. It's none of that. Hey, I come from a country, we have parliament. I don't know if you've ever watched sessions of parliament. Totally fucking entertaining. People
my gosh,
swear at
yes.
each other. It's lots
They
of fun,
love to
right?
yell at each other,
We love discourse. But I look at it from the point of view that I just think it's the money in politics, right? It all comes down to money in politics. I see too many candidates, whether they be left or right, literally seeing, basically, I believe politics or being a representative of any description should be based on the fact that I want to do good. I want to change the world. I want to change the community I live in. It should be about societal good, right? No matter how you look at it, that should be what it is. I see a lot of people that basically go in there to make a career of it and to basically collect bank as they go along, seeing this. If we don't pay them enough, yeah, that's fair enough. We don't pay them enough, but making bank. So one of the concerns that I have is, like I said before, that this incrementalism, like it's easy just to say, have a talking point and say, yes, I'm going to, make everyone's lives better. But at the end of the day, I'm very concerned that if we don't actually have elected officials, particularly in this midterm, because we're coming up to what they'll say is the most important election of our lives in 2028.
AKA every election cycle ever.
Exactly. Is that we're going to, in 2026, we're going to elect candidates here in Michigan and all over the country that are being fed to us and going to offer incrementalism. And I think if they do that, I'm very concerned that young people in particular are just going to get fucking frustrated and exhausted and just throw up their hands and go, well, fuck it. What does it matter? Because I just really do think that we are in we're just in a place right now, and I'm really interested in your thoughts on that as a young person. This is just my assessment.
Well, yeah, I mean, first and foremost, I want to say that taking any and all corporate PAC money is a bad thing. That should be the bottom line, and that should be a non-negotiable for every single campaign that is running an election, no matter what party you're in. Like, that should be a nonpartisan issue, and I'm surprised that it isn't. But yeah, I mean, something that I have issue with is these people who are taking, and I'm not going to name names, but these people who are taking corporate PAC money, and then their like motto for a campaign is like loving Michigan. This is a love letter.
Love letter.
This is I love Michigan.
But
and then I'm
Michiganders aren't funding my campaign. Only super PACs are.
literally Massachusetts is funding your campaign and APAC. So I'm like, where do your priorities lie exactly?
So who do, you're president of the College Dems.
Yes.
Is there a favorite?
Guys. Well, okay. I will say, when looking at the candidates and when looking at, the general endorsements that the college Democrat chapters have made, and the statewide College Dems were constitutionally barred from endorsing in primaries, but there has been general support for Abdul. But we also have a lot of people on our team that organize for Mallory or out for Mallory. But when it comes down to Haley, I have not met a single college student that intends to vote for her. And I think that also goes to show the ground game that they've had, because when we first came to campus in the fall, Students for Abdul was already creating organized and established chapters that Mallory's team followed only months after, because they saw the work that Abdul's campaign has been doing. And so I will give Abdul respect to the fact that they prioritized college students very, very early and was able to reel them into that campaign.
I feel like Ellie Savitt's campaign did the same.
Yes, and Ellie Savitt's campaign did the same thing. We had a army of high school and college students that were able to bring their friends, their family, their teachers.
I just want to do a quick shout out to candidates who are really making it a priority to talk to young voters and understand what they want.
Yes,
because this is who we are stewards for, right? Yeah. What's the point of it all if it's not to make things better for the people coming behind us?
Can I just speak about Haley Stevens for a moment?
Yes.
Because I had the pleasure of watching watching that fabulous debate on the stage at Mackinac last week.
Were you there in person?
No, we don't have that sort of Mackinac policy conference money, unfortunately.
That's okay. College Dems doesn't either.
We also don't have that policy conference stomach.
No, that's true. Yeah. That's true.
Julie and I are very much we can't tell our face not to.
That's right.
Make emotions.
That's
Yeah, me
right.
too. I think it was the COVID because I would always make faces behind my mask and then I had to unlearn how to do that. But anyways, sorry, continue.
Interesting point. So the folks that were running that particular debate asked Haley point blank, what impact does the donors and the donations and where the donations come from have on your votes in the legislature? And she then waffled about, did you guys see this? She waffled about who the fuck knows what. She literally did not answer the question at all. And then Abdul, who was standing next to her, basically said,
She doesn't answer shit.
well, she answered most of the questions, mainly with the, Michiganders and blah, blah, love letters to Michiganders. But this particular question was very direct. Like there was no way just to sort of waffle about, Michiganders and the car industry or whatever else. So basically Abdul turned around and said to her, you did not answer the question. And then the person that was running the debate also said you did not answer the question. It was just the best.
Did you see the statement? Do you want me to pull that up and read that? Or you have it there?
No, I don't have the statement, but it was basically that she couldn't hear.
I can read it verbatim.
Oh, please read it,
my
Gina.
gosh.
This was in response to the fact that there was obviously a lot of feedback about the
Yeah.
fact she did not answer that question.
This makes me really want like a Detroit-based SNL because I know that skit would have fucking hit.
It was fantastic.
When asked why Stevens didn't answer the question on AIPAC on stage, her campaign advisor, Caitlin, whatever, said she believed Stevens had a hard time hearing.
So basically, she didn't hear the question.
Dude.
Well, that'll answer why to every question her answer was Michiganders. Any rate, it was an interesting
Love letter to Michigan.
Love letter to Michigan. Any rate, it was interesting. But yeah, I think this all goes down to, like I said before, and you said about young people. Literally, we really do have to understand from a young person's perspective. And there'll be a lot of people out there that are listening to us right now who will question the fact that in 2022. We had the highest youth turnout of any state in the United States of America, right?
We did.
2024, that dropped off.
Yes.
So there are a lot of people out there saying, well, what happened to the young people in 2024? What do you say to that?
Okay. I will say, first and foremost, blaming.
Because Stella speaks for all young people.
I speak for the trees and the youth. Thank you. I'm like the Lorax for the young people. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not. I do not claim to be that. But I will say that first and foremost, I'm really fucking angry at the fact that people are pointing fingers at young people for Democrats losing the election because it's not our fault that because all of us were organizing on college campuses trying to get out the vote, and it was impossible. It was impossible because no one, the party and the people in power didn't give us enough to energize these young people to actually get out and do something. And the fact that it's being blamed on us is abysmal. Like, it is just so frustrating because there were so many issues. Like, we had the encampments happen that spring.
Yeah.
And the economy was fucking awful. We had wars going on everywhere. And then the fact that they put up Joe Biden again, and everyone was like, what the fuck? And then all of us had to put on this brave face of like, we are so excited. We are so excited to elect him as our president, even though he is so old and can't complete a thought. So I'm glad I'm able to say that now because I feel like I've definitely grown a backbone over these past 2 years. And
Joe Biden recently came out in a public interview a few days ago saying she believed her husband was having a stroke on stage during that debate. Yeah. So if he was so cognitively impaired that you thought he was having a stroke, why did you let him run for 2 more months after?
Yeah. I know. And I know I'm not going to say who, but there was an event where Jill Biden came to Michigan to campaign for
we were there.
Biden, yes. And there were a few state reps who are good friends with the college Dems and know the issues that are facing young people. And they approached her and they were like, hey, you really got to do something about this whole encampment Gaza thing. It's really bad. And she basically chewed them out and said, you don't know what you're talking about. You need to shut your mouth. And it just, that is why we lost the election. It is not because young people couldn't go out and vote. It's because the party didn't do enough to energize these people.
And we're in a system by which it's optional to vote. It's not like everyone has to. So therefore, you have to in some way energize, give people something to vote for. Yeah. And you're right.
Can I also add something too? I think the conversation, and I know people are super fired up, and this year is looking really good for Democrats, but it's also like, we need to learn how to win elections when we don't have a literal fascist in office that pisses everyone off. Yeah. We have to actually enact good policy that is able to impact people's lives and their pocketbooks and the food they eat on their kitchen table and their grocery bills and their gas bills and everything like that. And obviously that's a huge ask, but it should be the bottom line.
Stella, it's not a huge ask.
Yeah.
I suppose that's what we're trying to get to here, is it's not too much to ask for your elected officials or the candidates that are running for office basically offer very fucking basic things that people need to survive.
Yeah.
Gina, I think it's probably a good time for us to be able to I don't have a good segue for this, but we should talk about what happened this week.
Well, I have a segue for this because I think like another issue that the youth fucking can't stand are AI data centers. We've been watching all the college graduation commencement ceremonies.
Yep.
And just boo after boo for people touting AI because, like, here we have a class of graduates who, everyone going into tech, their job, like entry-level jobs have all been replaced by AI. So
not just tech. Lots of other, if you're sitting there studying journalism or anything like that.
Listen to this shit. I drove through the Taco Bell drive-thru yesterday.
It's AI.
It was AI.
It's AI.
Yes. Yep. And they kept asking me, like, are you sure your order looks okay? And I kept saying, I don't know. Does it? I kept asking, like, the AI bot at Taco Bell, like, questions back, and it wasn't answering them. So a woman finally was like, you're okay to drive through. And I'm like, okay. Like, I'm just fucking with it.
Jesus
no,
Christ.
it's everywhere, and it's so unwanted and unnecessary.
I do have to say, like, the Taco Bell AI was more accurate than most other AIs I've run into. It did get my order correct, but I will not be returning because that means somebody is not... that's one less person having a job.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So, no,
Sick.
if you're going to take my order via AI, I'm not ordering from you anymore.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Crazy.
Anyway, what the fuck happened in Saline this week?
Oh my, that goddamn barn. The fucking barn. I just want to say that
it's not a barn, you guys.
It's not a barn. It's a data center. And they didn't say
They're
that on the
calling
ad.
it a barn. That is how they make it palatable. We're not building an empty, disgusting, loud, noisy data center full of tons of really expensive copper wires that people can take and sell. We're building a barn. Wink, wink.
This is how stupid they think we are.
Yeah.
That's how stupid they think that we're going to fall for that shit.
We'll just call it a barn. It'll be nicer.
No, and
people
the
love
ads,
barns.
the ads are also, the ad literally starts with like, we love our Saline community. And I'm like, yeah, but you don't love them enough to contaminate
first
their
of all,
water.
You're raping the Saline community.
Yeah.
They did not consent to this.
No.
So I, once again, had the pleasure of watching the celebration of the barn yesterday, where our great governor, Gretchen Whitmer, sat there.
Shout out to Julie, who did take one for
Takes
the team.
another one for the team. I'm keeping notes, don't worry. But they were sitting on this janky stage under this janky little like cover.
Yes, I saw.
In the middle of fucking nowhere. And there you have Sam Altman, the OpenAI CEO, sitting next to Gretchen Whitmer, our governor, the CEO of Oracle, the folks from Wallbridge, Blackstone Real Estate, and some guy from North American Building Trades Union, the president of that.
I want to point out that Sam Altman is a man who's literally been fired from every position he's ever held and is a well-known sociopathic liar.
So we will get to that because I think what we need to talk about...
I don't want to jump ahead.
Yeah. I think what we need to talk about first is the way that they opened up this conversation, this celebration as they called it. They opened it up with, we went and spoke to the community. We loved the honesty of the community. For this to work, we need to be honest and open.
Okay, the
Bruh.
community spoke and said, we don't want you here.
Yeah.
You fucking sued the community to make this happen.
You basically, right, like you sued the community to the point where their options was retaliate and go broke in legal fees, legitimately,
Yep.
lose all civil services because they can't afford this lawsuit, or let their community be ruined by a data center. They had no option.
No option.
Correct.
Seriously. And
Yeah.
I personally, I don't know about you guys, but I have not met a single person that is pro data center in my life. In my life. And the fact that they're out here talking about, oh, we love you guys and we listen to you guys. We'd love to listen to you guys, when I haven't heard a single good thing that a regular human being, a regular person thinking has had on a data center. Like, to me, it just baffles my mind that they are this fake, and the fact that they think that we can't see through their bullshit.
That's
is
the
crazy.
hilarious part about it, Stella.
Yeah.
Like, literally listening to these people talk this shit and watching the comments was gold. I was like screenshotting constantly the comments, because everyone is fucking, apart from some poor guy.
Can I just like say, how the fuck did Gretch stand there with those people?
I don't know.
So it was very interesting
I was
to
like,
watch.
I felt like we needed to like that Gretch with the Oval Office, like
Oh, yeah. Yeah, the clipboard in her face, yeah. Well, let me tell you, they were
But
talking...
we know she invited them in.
She
So
did.
she did not.
Correct. She didn't. Yeah, this is all consensual. And the CEO of Oracle, he basically said, he sent point blank, this would not have happened without Governor Gretchen Whitmer's support. Like, definitely wouldn't have. Now, I just want to talk for a minute about how they tried to humanize it. There was clearly in the audience a local business owner, someone that owns a local coffee shop, and they shouted out this fucking coffee shop 20 times. It was hilarious. Then when they were talking about the number of jobs it was creating, they spoke about the fact that there's 2,500 union construction jobs that were created. And this guy said, I asked ChatGPT in honor of Sam Altman how many coffees 2,500 workers would consume in a day. And it said 6,250 cups of coffee. And basically,
So they're telling this man he's going to sell an additional 6,500 cups of coffee a day. So he's like, let's go.
But that was their very sad attempt at
Lord.
trying to humanize it and connect with the community. It was very funny.
That is such a shallow, like,
I know, it was-
humanization. And I do like political communications. Like, I work in political communications, and seeing that messaging like hurts me personally. Like, it hurts my soul, because I'm like, this is fucking shit.
The whole thing, it was just slop. It was like AI had written all the speeches. Anyway, the other thing that they have done is apparently they've donated. OpenAI, Oracle, Related Digital, Wallbridge and Blackstone have all contributed to donate $10 million in bribery to the Saline
We're
Recreational
sorry,
Centre.
you're all going to get cancer. Here's like a
Here's
new pool.
Oh my God.
that you'll get cancer in if you swim in. Hey, I watched Erin Brockovich.
Oh, that's true.
When that PG&E infected the groundwater and people were filling the pool with it, all those cancer kids, no.
Yeah, exactly. So when Big Gretch hit the stage, she was talking about the jobs it was creating.
Of course.
And then she was trying to make you feel a little bit better, Stella. I feel like she was talking to you
Me? Oh, like the
personally.
youth.
Yeah, the youth. You're the youth here today,
Right,
right?
yes.
She said when she left school, it was in the 90s, and she was scared at that time of computers. And now everyone's scared of AI. I would just like to say to Big Gretch that I think the difference, and I also left school at the same time as what Big Gretch did, maybe a little earlier. I think the difference is computers were developed initially as bottom up, like they were basically there to connect people, a way for you to be able to connect with other people, a way for you to be able to sort of see what's happening out there in the big wide world,
Well,
and to
okay.
give information.
Yes. That plus like doing actual mathematical computing that humans were incapable of
Correct.
calculating.
Yes.
Exactly.
For like the fucking space program.
But it was making us better.
It wasn't
It was.
to like, I don't want to read this article. Can you summarize it in 2 sentences for me?
Yeah.
For most people, it's going to end up just as a way to watch porn. I mean, at the end of the day. So,
well, that's already happened on Twitter,
But-
where
but-
people use Grok to turn normal
Correct.
women into whatever.
That's
exactly.
awful.
But AI and technology, it feels now, is actually being built by billionaires. So very different to back like in the 90s, trying to rape and pillage us, collect our data, make us weaker, make us more stupid, to manipulate us and divide us and track all the shit that we're buying, basically.
The intention is totally changed.
Exactly.
Yeah, and I can talk about my perspective as a student here because I still remember the first time I was ever introduced to AI. It was my senior year of high school in my AP Gov class where one of my friends like looked something up on AI and it like generated, and I was like, whoa, like this is insane. And I feel like a quote I saw recently that really impacted me is like young people or like college students and young adults like stop developing because of AI because it's making us so dumb. But children that are like in elementary, middle school just don't develop at all. And I think that is the most concerning part of this whole generative AI conversation because there are so many people that are my age that can't even form a comprehensive thought anymore because they rely on this generative AI like ChatGPT to like write their essays and do their discussion posts and write things out.
Email their teacher.
Like people are making grocery lists. Can you not look at your fridge and see what you don't need anymore? You don't need to take a picture and put it into ChatGPT. Like,
wow.
It's gotten to a point where it's so concerning to me, and seeing my generation become dumber because of it is really concerning. And the fact that it's being bolstered by our elected officials and these oligarchs who are like, this is good for you. It's going to help you. It's going to save you time. Like, sometimes we need to actually put in that effort to make our brains work.
Well, what else are we going to do with our time, quite honestly? We still have to like think we have to do things. So yeah,
absolutely.
Totally.
All of these AI tech gurus are like, you're going to get left behind if you don't use AI. It was in every commencement speak. You know what? Leave me then.
It's just a really fancy Google for me, to be honest.
Leave me behind. Leave me with my critical thinking. Leave me with my ability to read and write long form and books without needing AI summaries.
Yeah.
Please leave me.
What was extra dystopian, and I know I mentioned I was in New York this past weekend, but first off, AI ads everywhere. But the one that was the most concerning is like, it was, I don't remember what it was. I remember it was purple and it had like this woman on it. And it said, like stop hiring people or something. Like, I can't believe you haven't stopped hiring people yet. And it was like this AI generated woman. And it was
curtains completely pulled back.
It was so weird. And I understand it was like an attention grabber, but the fact that that is being publicized like that is so incredibly dystopian. It feels like we are in the Black Mirror.
So I think this leads us to a really interesting place, because the thing that after watching this 1 hour of Big Gretch sitting there looking with all the oligarchs and fucking whatever it was, the celebration of the barn, when the Oracle CEO got up, I mean, first of all, he was a complete fucking douchebag. You know when someone's trying to tell jokes and it's just not landing at fucking all? It was hilarious. But then he, like verbatim, he said, none of this happens without consequences. Truthfully, we've never done anything at this scale, and we learn as we go. So who's basically saying, I've got not a fucking clue what's going to happen from all of this. We're testing it. Then Sam Altman followed him, the CEO of OpenAI, and he said, this is a huge bet. So literally, they're saying the quiet part out loud. They're literally saying, we've got no fucking idea. The consequences of this, we're hoping it's okay. We're hoping it will cure cancer. Like Sam Altman even said, maybe we'll be able to cure cancer from this data center.
Will we? What's the probability of curing cancer and a person in the community getting cancer? I would say one is much higher than the other.
And here's the thing, okay? So community resources go into these cures, and then the insurance companies are going to make them unaffordable. Well, thankfully, fucking Bernie Sanders put forth a bill today saying, no, like 50% of everything that AI creates is to be owned by the people.
So we spoke about this last week, Gina, the fact that we're literally creating, people having babies today are just creating data centers, basically. Like the data is coming from the human beings at the end of the day.
Well, and that goes back to the intent you were talking about earlier, where early computing was meant to further the human race, and the intent now is to surveil us and take our data to commodify us.
Correct.
We are the product.
Anyway, That's all from that particular session. It was quite eye-opening. But you know what? My immediate takeaway afterwards, because I was obviously having to take notes for as Distill Social, was that they literally don't fucking care. They either think we're completely stupid and we weren't able to comprehend what they just said, the bullshit they just fed us, or they don't fucking care. They know that they have so much power, so much wealth that it doesn't matter how we respond to this.
Yeah, once you reach a certain income, I really don't think those people care what anybody else thinks.
Yeah.
Like money talks.
Yep.
Money talks, and what they're saying over there is incredibly loud.
Bottom line.
Yeah. Well, at least they're not afraid to be their total freak selves. So we see how
It's Pride Month. Glad you're proud.
they're totally insane. Yes, this is the first episode of
Yay! Happy Pride, everyone.
Happy Pride.
Bipolar disorder for Pride Month. So I just want to do a quick little rant, speech, whatever you'd like to call it. Distill Social. This is how we celebrate Pride Month. It's unlike the Hiddo Boys. We are not going to change our logo. Although we will be there in spirit, we are spending Pride by reminding people throughout this entire month that, you know what? You want to be an ally? Fucking vote like it. I don't give a shit if you went to a parade. I don't give a shit if you're wearing a t-shirt. I don't give a shit if you're waving a flag around. If you want to be an ally, you vote like one, because in this day and age, there is very clearly one group of people trying to take your rights away and another group of people trying to ensure that you can just live in society without being hate crimed all day long. So if you love a LGBTQ person, if you're friends with an LGBTQ person, get your ass to the primaries. Absentee ballots go out very, very soon, and make sure you vote for the candidates who will be sure your LGBTQ friends and family are safe.
And can I also add, please ensure that it is not something that is performative. There are a lot of people that are going to say they're going to fight for the LGBTQ community, but then will literally negate trans existence or the existence of the LGBTQ community. I wanted to note that Congressman Mike Lawler actually posted Happy Pride Month
Jesus Christ.
on his Twitter this month, so clearly he's very worried about his election. So yeah, do your research. Don't just listen to someone who says they're an ally but actually hasn't shown up for their community.
Don't buy your Pride shit at Target.
That's right.
True.
Well, with that, everybody, I'm going to say, Stella, thank you so much for coming on. We love having you, and we hope you'll keep coming throughout the election cycle.
Oh my gosh, this is the place to rant. I will be in the seat forever and ever and ever. I have many opinions on everything, and I'm glad that it's not just me talking to my friends in my car over Taco Bell or something.
No more Taco Bell until
no more Taco Bell. No more Taco Bell. Thank you. Only my home cooked burritos.
You can drive through. If a human answers, give your order. If not, keep on going.
Yeah.
Julie,
It's been a pleasure as always, Gina.
just a quick shout out to Pat, Tracy, and Andy. The Americans are pulling for you guys.
They are. Absolutely, absolutely. Thank you for visiting us today again, Stella. It's always a pleasure, and we will see you next week.
Can I plug before we leave?
Well, please, plug away.
At My College Dems on, I think, almost all platforms but TikTok. We do not have a TikTok. Donate to the Michigan College Dems PAC because we're trying to fundraise for this year. It's on our website, mycollegedems.org. Check us out.
If you have a college dem in your life, talk to them, ask them what they care about, and see who they want to vote for.
We are also establishing a record number of chapters going into this fall. We have 25 or 26, and we had 16.
Wow, you buried the lead there.
Yeah.
So that's just saying to everybody that young people are energized. You don't get new chapters without energy. So congratulations
and they're
to
not
you.
those fake chapters like Turning Point's been making.
Yeah. Oh my God. Don't get me started on them right now.
All right.
All right. That being said, the last thing we need to tell you guys is to check out G&T Time. You have to be a Patreon subscriber, but that's where we're going to dish like all the gossip Lansing doesn't want you to know about. So come on over.
And that's a wrap on today's episode of Point of Disorder. We'd like to extend a huge thank you to everyone who listened today. And if you like us, give us a like, a subscribe, or a review on any place you get your podcasts. And don't forget to follow us on social media at Distill Social and at The Guerrilla Politic. This is the Point of Disorder podcast, signing off. Stay sharp, stay progressive, and above all, stay tuned.